And the Aatmanirbhar Bharat.
Aatmanirbhar.
Pardon? That is the problem. You see, you don't understand that we speak different languages. சரி இனிமேல தமிழ்லே பேசுறேன் புரியுதான்னு சொல்லுங்க. No, this house has seen that, I mean, members must have seen what happened in many of the states in India. And recently in Tamil Nadu, there has been an excess of 75% rainfall in Tamil Nadu. And these extreme weather conditions are definitely they are caused by erratic rainfall patterns, and the impact of climate change cannot be ignored because they are overlapping. And cities and agricultural lands, everything is being affected. Cities are being flooded. Do we have any plan how we are going to deal with it in future? It is there. We have a problem. There's excessive rainfall. Chennai was flooded. My constituency, Thoothukudi, was flooded. We're struggling to drain the water out. But I think the union government has to have a clear plan about how we are going to deal with it, how, how future rainfalls, monsoons are going to be dealt with. Do you have any plans? Do you have any clarity about it? But sadly, Chennai is struggling with floods. Water doesn't have any way to go out to the sea. And in spite of all that, you want to expand the port. And you want to close the Ennur Creek and the Kosasthalayar River Basin because you want to expand the port. What happens to the city? What happens to the people there? Should we all drown? That's the only thing which will happen if the creek is closed.
What a shame.
So, I mean, we have to think about what we have, what is good in the long run, what is there good for the people, and not for what is good for the corporates. So the Prime Minister's Council on Climate Change, it was constituted in 2007. And then it was reconstituted, like everything would be reconstituted, in 2014. The Prime Minister held its first meeting of the Council in January 19, 2015. I would like to ask the Minister if the Council ever met after that. Because I've looked through the media and other reports, and there's no information of the Council meeting ever again. So if the Council did not meet after that, the Prime Minister went to the Glasgow Summit on climate change. And he has made promises, he's delivered a speech, and he said what the stand of the country is going to be, and the Minister was also there. I'd like to know, without consulting this Council, why did you have this wide Council? You did not consult any of the states. You did not consult any of the chief ministers. Because whatever promise you make, it's the state governments which have to implement it.
Correct.
Without the state governments, nothing can move.
Correct.
This is a federal nation.
Cooperative federalism.
And it's a union of states. I hope the government remembers that, and it has to consult with the states.
Correct.
It has to include the states, because we are the worst affected. You don't even, when there's a flood and when farmers are affected, when people are affected, and we ask the central government for funds, if we ask for 4,000 crores, not even 150 crores come.
Correct.
So you either help us this way, nor do you consult us. So I think it is very important to consult us. And moreover, I'd like to ask that the progress achieved by the National Action Plan on Climate Change, it was recently constituted. I'd like to know what they have done. And the Apex Committee for Implementation of the Paris Agreement is also not available about and what they have done, what they have achieved. I think it should be made available to the public so that they can understand what you have been doing and what you have been working. And the Aatmanirbhar Bharat, it's very difficult.
Aatmanirbhar. Aatmanirbhar.
Pardon? See, that is the problem. You see, you don't understand that we speak different languages. Either it can be in English or you can have it in regional languages so all of us can say it. சரி இனிமேல தமிழ்லே பேசுறேன் புரியுதான்னு சொல்லுங்க. அதுக்கு பர்மிஷன் கேட்கணும்ங்கறீங்களே. அதுதானே பிரச்சனை. The stimulus package not only has no place for environmental safeguards, but it is actually ecologically very regressive. One would have thought that the increasing scientific evidence linking economic problems and livelihood and disease outbreaks to ecological devastation would prompt a government that proclaims itself to be sustainable to put in place measures for conservation of natural ecosystems and wildlife. This is totally missing from your vision.
What a shame.
We say make in India. I'd rather say Tarcharbudaya India. But we are waiting for technologies in tackling climate change problems from developed nations. There's a lot of discussions about carbon capture, utilization, storage, hydrogen cells. I would like to know the stand on the government, what you think about this. Do you think it is efficient? Do you think we can also include that? We can think about it. Nobody knows what the government thinks about it, whether it can be taken seriously or we are not going to include that in our climate policy. And it is very prohibitively expensive. You wouldn't put something to stop emissions, sulfur oxide emissions in the coal factories. So this is very prohibitive. So why can't make in India think about technologies which will reduce and which will protect our people? So India has not invested in policies to facilitate our net zero commitments to COP26. It has also not made the budgetary allocations necessary to execute on our promise to the net zero 2070. The union government has actually reduced the budgetary allocation to the environment ministry. The minister, I'm sure, is well aware of it, and he knows, he must have felt the pinch. It's been reduced by 230 crores this year compared to the previous year. Our environment minister in Glasgow summit has said that climate finance is not charity. This is an obligation, responsibility, duty, and above. I hope he reminds the government and the finance ministry about this, that it is not charity, and this is a very, very important department, and they have to allocate enough funds to protect our people and the country. The economic development and environmental conservation does not have to be on opposite sides. There are many models in front of us which can ensure both development and conservation, but we have to listen. And we should believe in consultation. We should consult with experts, scientists, people who've been working in the grassroots level. And I think climate literacy is very important, not just students. I think for politicians, for public representatives, for officers, whoever is involved in policy making and will be policy makers of the future have to have climate literacy and understand that it is very important to protect this world. And the government needs to formulate a policy on climate change mitigation and adaptation with adequate investments on research and development. it is imperative that the central government holds consultations with all state governments, environmentalists, activists, and people who've been working towards, combating climate change. I would like to conclude by quoting Jay Inslee, the 23rd governor of Washington. We are the first generation to feel the sting of climate change, and we are the last generation that can do something about it.
Absolutely.
So let us do something about it together. I mean, we are not here to say you are in the treasury, we are in the opposition, and nobody can be above blame. We accept that. So I think we have to come together to protect and to do something about climate change, and that is the only true gift we can give the next generation. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you very much.